You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with, according to Ron's theory. So, when you're in a situation where you feel like the people around you are now holding you back from unleashing your true potential, what do you do? When it's not as simple as just cutting them off, or you don't want to hurt them, or maybe you can't afford to leave immediately, what do you do? Welcome back to Becoming Disscomfortable, a Gen Z podcast dedicated to preparing you to step into your light and become the best version of yourself. I'm your host, Lyla, and let's get into it. Where we are born, who we are biologically related to, the people that we live in closest proximity to, and then by default become friends with, we don't control that. Anwita asked, how could you surround yourself with better people when the people you trust are not what you want to be? Like, it doesn't feel right to leave the people who trust you just because they're not who you want to be. So this girl feels guilty because she doesn't feel like she should be cutting these people off for simply holding her back or leading a life that's different from the one she desires. And rightfully so, because cutting people off is a big deal. You cut off disrespectful people, narcissists, abusers. You don't cut off people that you love and maybe once made you grow but are now holding you back very easily. The thing that's crucial to understand here is energy and how it works around you and within you, and how you can harness the power of energy to get to where you want to be in life. This girl seems pretty goal-oriented. She knows what she wants, and now she's trying to figure out how to get it. The energy that you are surrounded by matters so much that it causes you to absorb the habits of the people around you. For example, when I'm in an environment where I am surrounded by people who are scrolling on their phones all day, lying in bed, not connecting with people in real life, not exercising, I begin to mimic those exact habits. I catch myself falling into a rut again and again, and it becomes 10 times more difficult for me to lift myself out of it when those people around me are constantly doing those things. Then, when I decided enough is enough and I walked to my nearest cafe, I was now surrounded by people who had their laptops open, who were having conversations with each other, business conversations. I saw a guy my age talking to his client in person. He was offering her a service. He was doing business with her in person. And you know what that does to you? Being surrounded by people who are what you want to be, it lights a fire under your butt. It's like peer pressure, but in a positive way. Same thing applies to why people go to the gym. I'm not a gym girly. I do not like working out using gym equipment, but I make myself go there because it allows me to surround myself with people who are working on themselves. And let me tell you, people will not ridicule you in this type of environment. Quite the opposite, actually. They will uplift you, motivate you. They don't expect you to automatically be the best at it. Even if you're surrounded by people who are doing really, really well at whatever they're doing, they won't make fun of you for not being in that position. They'll actually be more helpful to you because they've been in the same situation that you are in. And this is how you also build community, a community that you actually want to be a part of. You really need to consider what you're feeling right now, because it's a big deal. So consider this. You feel like they are holding you back and that they are limiting your potential, right? But in this case, what really matters is you. You can't change them. You can't control who they are as a person. And you acknowledge that by understanding that they are not who you want to be. So there's already a very clear difference between who they are and who you want to be. So in this situation, the thing we can do is shift accountability back to us. It's not them who are limiting your potential, it's you, because you are in control of who you spend your time with. And like I said, you don't need to cut people off. Cutting people off is not the only solution. There's actually another way, a better way, and that is to create healthy distance. I am so grateful that I came across this video from Alex Hormozy. He's a powerful entrepreneur, and he explained why distance can actually be healthy sometimes. He talked about creating a dichotomy, so between the time that you spend with your loved ones and the time that you choose to spend away from your loved ones on purpose. He said that it's so important to spend real quality time together with your loved ones so that you can truly connect and develop your relationships, but it's equally as important to create space deliberately. And we're going to get into why that is. Creating space can make people miss you more. Sometimes we don't understand the value of something until it's gone, until it's temporarily away from us. You give people a chance to miss you. It's a balancing act of spending quality time together and allowing the other person to be autonomous, to grow in their own time. This This allows you to thrive as your own individual person and also within your relationships. It's like a win-win situation for everyone. For example, I have some childhood friends that I absolutely love hanging out with. So when I was younger, one day I asked my mom, why do we not hang out with them more often? Like, they're amazing girls, our moms are best friends, so what's the problem? And my mom said, yeah, of course they're great, but sometimes it's better not to hang out every single day because it can make you cherish the moments that you do spend together a lot more. And as I've gotten older, I've kind of realized that when you see people just talking to each other and spending time together all the time, you become codependent and also kind of sick of each other at some points. So rather than spending every single day together, my friends and I started hanging out once or twice a week. The idea is that we grow in so many different ways, from connecting with people, spending time with our friends and family, but we also grow from solitude, from educating ourselves, our hobbies, our work. If you neglect one of these areas of growth, you'll suffer in the other ones. Your relationships will suffer, or your relationship to self will suffer. I have younger siblings. What my 10-year-old brother is going through, his life experiences do not match mine and what I'm going through right now. It doesn't make any sense for me to be spending all of my time with them because that is going to stunt my growth as a person, especially right now as a teenager. Like, if there's any time that I should be growing and changing, doing things on my own, it is now. I recognize that it is unhealthy for me to be surrounding myself with people whose values do not align with me. Now, obviously, this is a nuanced take because sometimes you have to. It's also important to keep in mind that you still need to connect with people, right? It's good to be connecting with people from all different walks of life, even if your perspectives don't align, even if they're not doing the things that you're doing, because you can learn from them. Like, they don't need to know everything about your life, but you can learn from them. They might not be helping you grow in the ways that you want, and in that case, that is where you increase distance, but they can still offer you something, and you for them. Like, there is still benefit in spending time with these people. You just need to balance out the time. It's a balancing act. I'll give you another example. I was skipping out on a lot of family events because when I was alone, I was able to work on my goals the best, and it made people so much more curious. Like, all of a sudden, people were checking in, wanted to see where I was, what I was doing. But I also realized after skipping a lot of events, there is no valid reason to be skipping every single one. Even though these people might hold me back some ways, it is so important to stay connected to your roots and where you came from. And if anything, that trust that I have with these people is something you don't just get from anybody. So that's where the dichotomy comes in. And that is the art of balance. It's not an easy one from experience, but it's possible, and you do get better at it the more you do it. Another thing you need to be doing, if you are not already, is block unsolicited advice. My rule is that I do not share anything before it actually happens. Not just because of evil eye, but scientifically it also you when you do this. A reason why you feel like they are holding you back may be because they constantly fill your mind with doubts about the things you want, because what you want is different from what they want, and that is foreign territory to them. And when people don't understand something, or when people don't agree with something and choose not to look into it, obviously they can't speak about it in a way that would actually help you learn from them. Why would you take advice about your ambitions from somebody that is unambitious? Why would you take advice about a life pathway from somebody that is not living that life pathway or isn't working towards it? So you say less and do more. Like I said, you can still learn from them. Let them talk. If you feel like they're holding you back, let them talk. Not about you though. Let them talk about themselves. The less material you give them about yourself, the better. And that allows you to spend time with them without feeling like that time is a complete waste because it's holding you back. You don't want their doubts about the life that you're building for yourself, but that doesn't mean that you can't learn from them. Listening to other people's perspectives, especially when you don't agree with them and are still able to be respectful, that's a skill in of itself. The last thing I want you to remember is that community is everywhere. Community can be built from scratch. Community can be found in all parts of the world, online, offline. By creating healthy distance with the people that are holding you back, you free yourself to be able to meet more of the people that you could be learning from every single day. I hate this villainization of, is that a word? I don't know, villainization of distance. So many times it's looked down upon, it's considered selfish for you to take time away and do something for yourself. But the thing is that when you take that time away from these people and you put it into yourself for a little while, your relationships are actually by default gonna get so much better because you are then gonna be showing up more fulfilled, more content, a happier version of yourself. And that is naturally going to allow you to people a lot better, even if you feel like they're holding you back. Always remember that it's going to create a win-win situation for everyone, but it's not going to happen in a day. That is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this episode, please let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next episode.